Hey, all my beautiful people, how are you? So, I have been called to tell you my story. And not just my story, but a lot of the things that I do know, the things I can do, etc. I already started that with the portals and entities that I was telling you about in one of my last um, brown chair chats. That's what I'm going to call it, I think. Brown chair chats. Um, this is about, my spiritual awakening. That's where this is going to start. I do want to put a little background, of course, that before getting involved in the spiritual world, I mean, I've been a fashion designer, interior designer, product designer, a fine artist, represented a gallery in San Francisco. I've done adult work for many, many years. I've written a TV series. I have a reality show planned. None of this, of course, has happened yet, but it will be. And and then, of course, the spiritual side of things. And they want me to sort of tell you my story of how that began and why. I think the big, I think we know why, because right now, of course, we're all in an ascension right now. And for a lot of you who don't know, we are in the age of Aquarius. It just literally just happened about maybe a year ago, maybe, if I can recall. Time starts to blend in very quickly. So, and we've been in through a transition from Pisces to Aquarius. Now this transition still takes longer. I mean, these cycles last at least 2,000 years, so you're at the very beginning of this cycle. It's out with the old, in with the new, and that's kind of what's happening now all around the world. You see everything's upside down. Black is white, white is black, up is down, boys are girls, girls are boys. It's like it's a mess. It's a mess. And there is a kind of a trying to figure out where everything sort of sits and everything lies. Right now, the dark side is really trying to make a mess of everything before they leave, because they know this ascension is happening. So everything's being exposed, as you know, and that's one of the things I want you to understand, is that do believe what's in your heart. The media, a lot of people are trying to feed you lie upon lie upon lie upon lie, and it's obvious now how much lying is going on. It's ridiculous. Um, but this is like, for those people who are raising their vibration, will see this very clearly. For those who have not yet, hopefully you're coming to that conclusion and starting to wake up. Everyone's going to be on their own journey. Everybody is on their own timetable. Some people may never wake up, and unfortunately that's going to be a different story for them, but we'll get to that another time. So what I want to do is tell you my story of how this began, my dark night of the soul, basically. And by the way, if you're watching this on Instagram, it's probably going to cut off in 15 minutes. I think this is going to be longer than 15 minutes. You can catch the rest of it on my YouTube, of course. So what initially happened, what sort of brought this along. Now, I was always kind of involved with enjoyed a good reading, a tarot reading. I couldn't read my cards at the time. I had other people read them for me. Which was fine and dandy. I was always into things of history and ancient civilizations and UFOs, aliens, all that kind of thing. Science. I love science. I'm a big geek. I'm when I was a kid, I wanted to read the entire encyclopedia. And we had books then, and I never quite did, but I would read quite a bit in the encyclopedia, and because I just kind of a thirst for knowledge, and so that kind of has always been part of my life. Now, as I was doing more of the adult entertainment, I had met a person who I thought I was going to marry. And we'll just call his name Tim for now, because I'm not going to use any real names here. And when I met Tim, I knew something was very different about this person. Every soulmate I've had, a very significant soulmate, there was always something that I knew I had to be with that person. And again, soulmates are here for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Well, this was definitely a reason, soulmate. So we got together, moved in pretty quickly and all that. Had a beautiful relationship, at least what I thought. Things weren't perfect, but then what is? I'm still coming from a very sex-centered kind of world. He was doing his own thing. He was also transitioning into being a trainer, and so that kind of I thought was working well. So it was almost, I guess, a bit more than a year and a half. I just saw this huge spider web right on my thing. I got to take care of that. But anyway, sorry. So I thought everything was going well, and we were together for quite a while. Moved in here, and then on my 50th birthday, my car, I had bought an older BMW convertible that I had paid off, and I was fixing it up. I figured out, great, no car payments. This will be lovely. Never have to, just pay the insurance. Fantastic. I had the car for about 6 or 7 weeks. On my birthday, on my 50th birthday, which is like 7 years ago now, 6 years ago, sorry. The car got hit in the afternoon. We were going to lunch, and it was just, not salvageable, and it was done. So I was trying to keep a very positive attitude at that point, try not to get upset about it. I was trying to transition to things, trying to change my my whole world around me, because I was trying to figure out what was the next step to do, the next thing in my life. And, he was fairly good with that for a point. And then he's like, well, I wanted to take us to dinner. And I said, okay, well, let's go to dinner, because I want to try to keep the energy up. And I started getting a little funky about the energy afterwards. And it was like, I just wasn't feeling good. And so much of this stuff happened. So we're at dinner, and suddenly now he's telling me that he was planning to move out. So basically he was breaking up with me on my 50th birthday. It was great. It was a lovely 50th birthday. I will never forget it in my entire life. Yeah. So that was lovely. He eventually moved out, did not want to stay, but we were kind of still involved with each other. I was going through it at that time. He moved into West Hollywood. I was still in the place. I was living in Beverly Hills. And I was just going through it. I had dark night of the soul. And when I mean, I was very depressed. I could not sleep more than 3 hours a night for like a good 3 months. Lost a lot of weight, was very, very depressed. And just, it was awful. It was really, really awful. And you don't think I didn't think of myself as codependent on anybody, because my previous life, I'm a go-getter. I do things around, travel the world by myself. Not a big deal. But this really, really hit me hard. And this is when I found out that we were also twin flames. And twin flames, if nobody knows about that, is sort of it's a very divine setup. The two twin flames are supposed to teach each other things in their life to inspire them to come into their spiritual awakening. And so it's kind of like this attraction, but then repulsion. And you're both supposed to learn how to heal yourselves, but you're like a mirroring each other. And so this causes a lot of tension and division. This is what was happening. And I learned about this, and I was like, okay, I was understanding it. I wasn't able to sleep. I was literally sleeping 3 hours a day or 3 hours a night. I tried Percocet one time. I was drinking wine. I was trying marijuana. Tried all three one night. Still getting up in 3 hours. It was just a living zombie for that time. And I started to try to sort of reach out to him, and he kind of did. He was kind of there. I felt that he was still very connected. I did tell him about this twin flame, because what I did is I started listening to my particular reader that I've used for years, Raphael, and I would see Raphael every twice a year for my birthday, and then for the New Year's, which is almost about 6 months apart. And Raphael was kind of my therapist through all of this, getting through a lot of the problems. And a lot of the things that he said, I would say about 98% of it came true, which I was surprised at. No, that's never going to happen, blah, 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 but it did. So at that time too, I started listening to other tarot readers. And as I was listening to them to sort of for guidance, to raise my energy, for healing, I was also listening to them and sort of learning how to read the cards. So listening to many different readers, how they interpreted the cards, what the cards meant. Because when you do tarot, you need to know the basis of what each card represents. And then from there, it's intuitive when you're doing the reading. So I was learning at that point. I was trying to heal myself. I was very depressed, trying to heal myself. I was starting to go more into my meditation. The universe, I started reaching out, basically the universe is reaching out more to me to sort of guide me. I've had incredible meditations, things that I will maybe explain a little bit longer, as another time, out of body experiences, crazy things when it comes to it. And it was amazing, the things that I experienced and saw, because they were also trying to heal me as well. And I started learning more and more about, twin flames, the ascension, all of these particular things going on, the spiritual battles that we're having right now too. It's on a very surface plane level where you can see this kind of fighting going on all the time, but it's a spiritual battle as well. And so I was like learning all this, still kind of having him in my life. We were still kind of seeing each other once in a while. And it was kind of like he wanted to be in my life, but didn't want to be in my life. And it was just like, it was hard for me because I'm like, you're my twin flame. You're supposed to be here. And I was starting to heal. Like I was starting to get more and more deeper into the spirituality. So as I would guess about almost 8 months into it, he was of course living separately 8 months. He couldn't afford his apartment. He had gotten a roommate that didn't really work out well. And I went to one of the bars that he normally go-go dances, but I knew he wasn't going to be there that night. At least that's what I thought. And ran into him. That evening, which is very interesting, is that he was like, "Oh my God, I feel so differently about you. I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah." And now looking back at this, what I know before, it was just him being an opportunist. He couldn't afford his apartment. I didn't want to move him back in right away, and he wound up doing that. Had a whole nother scenario with some guy that moved in, a big ass mess, because this is part of karma playing out, of course, and me also being there, of course, getting tied into it. This is why I said be very careful with people and their karma. So, and again, I had to go through all this because I'm also helping a lot of people in their own particular situations. I've been through a lot of situations, not just this one, but this is the one that the universe kind of wants me to tell you about because this is part of the spiritual awakening. So, got back together, and I thought things were good. I mean, yes, we had some problems, but I thought we could iron them out. We were trying to make things work, at least I thought. I thought this was the guy that I was going to marry. I really did. And as it continued, we started, working together, which was good. We were working, we were traveling together, we were doing a lot of things together, we were going out, we had friends. I mean, it seemed all very good. And as we got back from, this is 2019, got back from Mykonos in London, I think that's kind of when things kind of hit. And I didn't realize he was trying to replace me with somebody else. He was looking for somebody else. Not only is he an opportunist, he was also a narcissist, and I didn't know that at the time. A sociopath too, I guess is what you would also say. So he was trying to replace me, and he finally found somebody. Because the universe put this person in front of his life, and this is also part of the spiritual thing. They were trying to put me in a 3-way party, which I did not even know about, trying to get me that. He was lying all the time about it. And when I found him in his lies, he wanted to move out. He wanted to move with this guy who I'm just going to call the psycho because he is. And the psycho was married with somebody else, with a child, like a long time. And he's an opportunist, so this person was a lawyer. Went with this person and decided he was going to have this particular life with this person. Trying to replace me. That's like replace the anti-empress with the empress. It was very difficult, and I told him, I said, this is not the same breakup as before. What was interesting about this whole thing is that he told me that during this breakup, that soon when we got back together, he basically had checked out. So he wouldn't string me along for at least a good 1.5 years until he found his replacement for me, or at least his replacement in quotation marks. And one of the things that he wanted to do drugs and circuit parties. That was apparently his MO. It's drugs and circuit parties. Huh, okay. Life goals. Life goals. So of course the person that was, AA, because the person that he was with was AA, wound up doing drugs as well. Again, and this is known through other people. And I'm like, okay, this is just fantastic. So he tried to come back again, and I was like, no, they wanted to be friends, and I was like, no, because I knew this was all a lie. It was superficial, and I had a lot of healing to do. And I did my healing, and I did my healing fairly quickly. I had to pull myself out of it with the help of friends, and of course my spirit guides, my meditations, things like that, which really got me closer and closer to the universe and to what I'm supposed to be doing here. I feel like a sleeper agent that woke up one day, to tell you the truth. Yeah, kind of like, I would have never suspect that my life would have changed like this ever, to such an extent, and to be so connected with spirit, and in such a different vibration and different life. There's a lot of gifts that I've gotten. I know the universe takes care of me. This is one of the things about, like, you need not to worry about money. You need to, we'll talk more about this, about energy, about money, about healing, and we'll talk about all these other things a little bit more fully. But I'm just going to give you the story right now as far as what I can, because it's a lot. I mean, I went through a lot to get to this point. I had to let go of ego. I had to forgive. I had to, change habits. And getting rid of your ego and healing is a very difficult process. It's not something you do like that overnight. I wish it was, but most people expect changes right away, but it's a process. And you didn't end up this way or become this person like that. It was a process for you to get there, and now it's a process for you to change. So, I mean, and I would never, even though it was very difficult, it was probably one of the most difficult things I've ever had to go through in my life, I would never change it for the world, because it's brought me with so much joy and so many abilities and so much happiness and a new soul tribe, and it's just beautiful. And so there's a lot of love in my life and abundance and joy, and I would never discount that ever, 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 ever. So going through all that, I had to go through the spiritual awakening to heal myself. Now, we're talking about the twin flame aspect of this. He never bothered to do so. He went deeper and deeper and deeper on the other side. And that's fine and dandy. We all have free will. You do what you want. But after a certain point, he was downgraded to a karmic. The universe, for one of my birthdays, not this one, I think it was 2 birthdays ago, downloaded him to a karmic. So he was no longer a twin flame, because now it meant the universe was bringing me new person, and not quite tied to him as I would have been before, because I had to do cord cuttings and everything else to get rid of his energy. It's very difficult, very, very difficult, and to sort of move on and whatnot. And this is also, about the patience of letting the universe do what it needs to do. The universe, when readers try to give you time, it's very difficult to do so. Everyone has free will. Things change. We've been going through different, we've been skipping timelines right now. We've been going up in vibration. People have been getting downloads. And so all of these changes are happening. And a lot of people are sort of recognizing and seeing them. They are starting to ask more questions. They're doing more healing. We have a lot of light workers here on the earth because their energy is needed right now. So all those light workers had to burn off all the previous karma, from family karma, from the planet's karma, everything. So that now when anyone does anything douchey, you're going to pretty much get your karma pretty quickly. So I just say, do well to each other. It's like, don't create any more karma for yourself. You will not be getting it in another lifetime. You will be getting it in this lifetime. So it's and making sure that you heal. And the meditation, everyone can meditate differently, but it's not about clearing your mind. It's about manifesting the things you truly want in your life, and as they're here in the now, with gratitude. Be grateful for everything: your cup of coffee, your bed, your pillow, whatever it means, the air conditioner, the shower. Be grateful, because the universe will shower you with more. Be grateful for the money that you have. Be grateful that you can pay your bills. Be grateful for that. It will bring more to you. It's also important to let go of things, to forgive people, to let them go, to send love and good vibrations to them, even though it's maybe very difficult, because I know a lot of you had a lot of awful, atrocious things happen to you that are done by other people, even family members. But it's important that you let that go, because it holds your soul down like an anchor, and we don't want that. We need you raising upward, not keeping you down solid here. So you need to let go of things, people, places, emotions, ideas that no longer serve you. You give them up to the universe, okay? Very important to let these things go, to heal, to let go of the ego. The ego is a crafty one too, I'm gonna tell you right now. That's the one that keeps you held back. Oh, I can't do this. I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm not talented enough. Oh, look how much she's got, he's got. You'll never be good enough, blah, blah. It's a monster. It was there to protect you. You formed it basically from when you could understand people to 5 or 7 years old. However, when you hear that voice, that inner voice of yours, catch it and tell it, almost treat it like another person, because it kind of is almost its own entity, to tell it to stop. Go outside the room, the big boys here, big girls are here, and change that energy and say, no, I can't do this. But you have to catch it. You have to catch it. You have to start being aware of your thoughts, okay? And be able to catch that. That's how you're going to change that. And again, it's a process. Doesn't happen overnight, doesn't happen quickly, okay? I wish a lot of this, I could say it was going to happen like that. It doesn't. It is something that you're going to have to work on, okay? But it is well worth it to do so. Remember, you have the power yourself. Nobody has the power. We all think that we're stuck in situations, etc. But no, we have the will to change it. We have our autonomy. Unless literally someone's got you trapped in a basement or a gun pointed to your head, you can change. You have choices. So it's up to you. No one can do the healing for you. I think therapy is great, to a certain extent. I think, I did see a therapist when during my second breakup. And I saw him for 4 months, and he's also a spiritualist. And after 4 months, I said, I think we're good here. We both did. We're fine. That's what it should be. But you got to put the work in too. It's you hear people that have been with therapists and psychologists for 10 years, and you're like, that's just another codependency. You're not learning anything. And you're buying the doctor or therapist another BMW, but you're not learning anything. You're not doing your work if you're still with that in that capacity. And I know there's people that have more chemical imbalances than that, but yeah, even the chemical imbalances can be changed. And I don't mean basically through pharmaceuticals. And pharmaceuticals you have to be very, very careful with and use very sparingly. Yes, know it. Go to a doctor. I'm not saying you need to know that you need to have a good friendship with your doctor to be able to tell you what's wrong with you, try to figure out other alternative means instead of just taking one particular drug. What else can we do? How bad is this? You need to start looking into that and sort of okay, if we take this drug here, can we do this? But you need to improve your life. What is the cause of this particular thing? Is it your weight? Is it you're not exercising? Is it your stress? Is it your work environment? There's all of these things that contribute to ill health. So, and over a long period of time, some of it just keeps building and building up until we have a catastrophe on our hands at the end of it. So those are important things to remember. This awakening, was difficult, like I said. I wouldn't change it. I've been able now to, like I said, with the portals, been able to close and open portals, which I don't do very often. I'm going to do it when, if the universe needs me to, or if I have, somebody I know who has portals up in their houses, then I will come do it. Or on their land. I just did one for a couple in Oklahoma. And that's, I can do that remotely around the world. And so it's, having to close the portal and then shield the property, around it so nothing can come in or out. At least as far as energy is concerned, negative energies, that kind of thing. Also healing. I can do healing work. I'm also doing more healing work on myself and learning how to deal with that more as well. Remember, you are in charge of your body. Your body's not in charge of you. So very important to remember. These are things that will take time. They do not happen overnight. First of all, our ego in that wants to say that's not real. It can't happen. No, we can't do it. We can't do it. You can. You can. They're telling me yes. I'm also, this is one of the things too, I guess I want to just explain, is that not everybody here on this earth is, their souls not initially from earth. When the universe had kind of divided itself up a bit, like when it does that, there were certain souls that were going to different planets to be here and to be there. And you're going to live that life here, and you're going to, go back again, reincarnation. You're going to go back, your brother's going to be your mother, blah, blah, blah. You have your soul tribe that you're going to be traveling with and experiencing different lives, because the universe wants to experience everything. And so the bad, good, and the ugly. But remember, for not doing the right thing, there is a thing called karma. And that's problematic if you don't do the right thing, getting karma. So if you just think of it as a big video game, basically. So when you come down here, you sign a contract, to learn certain things, to do certain things for your soul. Now, where was I kind of going with that? I kind of got off track. Oh, the souls. So there are a lot of souls now also from other planets. These people are still human. I'm not talking about our space brethren. I'm talking about the humans that are here. Their souls are not necessarily human or from Earth souls. They are from other planets, or in my case, angelic. Also happen to be an actual angel, and I don't use that term lightly. And nor, when people say, "Oh, you're an Earth angel," yeah, kind of in this one. It was just a little weird to say, but it's what I had found out. There's only about close to 5,000 of us down here. These souls in these bodies. I am very human. I've had to go through things just like you did. In fact, sometimes even worse, because a lot of us, and I do know a few more angelics, and they have gone through very, very difficult times in their lives. So we are not spared just because we are angels. And so our abilities, depending on what that is, are starting to grow and grow lately more and more, as of course more of them wake up and sort of understand what they're supposed to be doing here. This is not an easy path nor an easy road. So, this is, more of, that's why I'm able to close and open portals. That's why I'm able to destroy entities. That's why I'm able, to heal, and I'm starting to learn to heal more. So the power lies in each individual. I think you've all seen those Baptist ministers or whatever, you are healed kind of thing. No. That, if there is an actual healing there, that's through the person themselves, not through who this person thinks that they're channeling God. And I had to ask that too, because I speak directly to my guides and to the universe. And I know for you, a lot of this may be very like, he's crazy, but the universe wants me to tell my story, and now I'm able to tell some more of what I've been going through. So, no, I'm not crazy. Definitely not crazy. It's wild. It's been a wild ride, that's for sure. But and it's all done, and it's also seeing the bigger picture too, which is absolutely beautiful. It's knowing that yes, these things are happening, and everything may seem chaotic, but it's okay. It's okay. It's all turning the way the universe needs it to. I also look at death in a different way too, because death is not the ending. It's just the ending of this particular physical form. And then you go on to either come back or decide what's going to happen next. That's up to you in the universe. But so having these, being an angel, being able to communicate directly to source and whatnot, and be able to ask questions about so many different things, and which I'll be able to explain more as we continue to have these brown chair chats. So it's been quite amazing. My abilities keep getting stronger, new things keep coming, new downloads, which I will be helping people along the way again, but it's also going to be teaching you to be able to heal yourself, to help heal yourself, to regenerate, to meditate, to up your vibration. There's no gurus here. There's no gurus. If you're following a guru or something, stop it. It's and the same thing too. It's like everyone thinks that they have to connect with God or spirit through a church or a synagogue or whatever. No. You can do it just sitting on your toilet, babe, because the toilet is the universe too. You're the universe, the air you breathe, the couch you sit on, all of this is the universe. There is no separation. It may feel like that, it may look like that, yeah, but there's no separation. The universe is literally everything. So there's no getting away from it. And you don't need a fancy church or anything. I mean, it's great, they're pretty, the architecture's nice, and it's nice to, when you do have a congregation of people, you bring and raise the vibration up of that energy. So that's important. So more people together can do that. But you don't need it to connect to spirit. You don't need it to connect to spirit. Start talking to your guides. Everybody has guides. One is always going to be a guardian angel. And some people, most earth souls have about 3 to 5. If you're a light worker, you might have 7. I have a bit more because of the work I'm supposed to be doing here. But, and start talking to them. They could be passed on loved ones. They could be animal spirits. They could be just spirits directly coming from, from the universe that have never had a human form or humanoid form. So they're going to be, the makeup's going to be different. Could be other angels. But start talking to them. They will talk back to you in synchronicities, through other people, through things that you might get an aha moment, through repeating numbers, things like that. You're going to notice, but you need to start talking to them. They can't help you unless you ask for help. It's a free will zone here, and they cannot help you. The guardian angel's there to try to keep you out of harm's way, but that's about all they can do. So you have to ask them for their help. And and I like to say recovered Roman Catholic, even though I'm very spiritual. There's a lot of truths in every religion, but a lot of religions, well, pretty much every religion has been bastardized because of power, man's power, wanting to control. So, unfortunately that has been, what most people have been killed in the name of God. So it's not, religion itself is not particularly bad or the problem. It's usually the power that corrupt, which is corrupting our governments and everything else. But that's turning around too, and also make sure that you don't follow false people as well. Got to be very careful with this. Use what's in here. Understand yourself and what hits you correctly, what doesn't. And you can listen. I'm not here to try to convince you of anything either. That's not my job. You can take the information I'm giving to you and throw it in the trash, or you can listen to it, or whatever fits for you. I don't, I'm not here to convince you anything. I'm not here to be your guru or any of that sort. I can be here to sort of give you advice and maybe help you on your journey, but that's about it. I'm not here, to be a kind of any savior or any of that kind of thing. No. Absolutely fucking not. But I am here to help guide and give advice when needed. I'm still human too. I still have a body. I still have this personality and everything else that came with us. So I just wanted to tell you a bit more about this story, and kind of, tell you a little bit more of who I am. I mean, I've been sitting on this for quite a while because the universe did not want me to tell many people. A few friends know, but this is, of course, something that, you tell most people. If they don't understand it, they think, he's a whack job. I am not crazy, I assure you. But again, you take this as you want, take it for what it is. It's just really about raising people's vibration for this ascension. That's really the mission I have here. And this mission is going to be in part and parcel with that, the reality show, with the scripted show, doing my readings, doing the healings, doing portal closes and things for people. That is part of what I do. Just my energy being around other people is hopefully lifting them up as well. This is all part of what I'm supposed to be doing and what you're supposed to be doing as well. Keeping that energy up, being nice to people, keep the vibration up so that we can start moving through this ascension. And don't get me wrong, people think, oh, the ascension, then it's going to be unicorns and rainbows. No. Humans are not built for that. You guys need some drama. You definitely need some drama. So things will be easier, things will change, but don't expect a perfect utopia. Not going to happen. Not right now. You got a ways to go. There are other humanoids with different vibrations who are much further along. But you got some time, but enjoy it. Enjoy your life. You're supposed to also enjoy your life here. Learn your lessons, but enjoy the fruits of the earth as well. Responsible, of course. It's everything in moderation, being kind to yourselves, to the planet, to other people, to the other animals. And I'm no vegan, I'm not that, I do eat meat and everything else. Could we do better with raising our animals? Absolutely. And we will, and we would definitely will. But there is also a reason why all these things exist the way they do. And if you want to become a vegan and eat vegan, that's fine. Do that. You're on your own path. It's great, fantastic. But we will be doing better. There's a lot of, what irritates me about politics right now is nobody telling you all of the new advancements that all these scientists are starting to work on. There's so many new things that are going to be coming out to help our world, to help us. Now, we got to be careful with a lot of them because, again, who controls them is the issue. But a lot of that is starting to maneuver and die out. This is the age of Aquarius. It's a it was a top down. Now it's a bottom up. So it's about the masses. Hence why the internet was created, that kind of thing. And people, there is no such thing as coincidence. Nothing happens by chance. It is all synchronicity. Every choice you make has already been mapped out. This is where we get into the multiverses. Every choice you could possibly make has already been mapped out. There's no such thing as time. You perceive time because it's the way your brain perceives it. But there is no such thing as time. Everything's happening at once in multi-dimensions and in multiple dimensions and vibrations. It gets very complicated, but it's actually kind of simple in the prospects. Quantum world, they showed me the quantum world and how that works. It's like the smallest particles are almost like little stars of energy. They're like little tings of light. And some of them are grouped together and some of them are far apart. And those things then start building neutrons and atoms and everything else from up there. And so and everything through that, all the space in between is the essence of spirit. So that's why I said there's no separation. Think of us just in a big stew. There's no separation. And the universe does want you to be happy, but the universe also will give you your karma if you haven't done the thing, because that's how you learn your lessons. You don't do right, you get the stick. And the universe doesn't really want to do that, but it's got to, so that you can sort of keep you on track. Yes, you have free will. You have the free will. You have free will to make that decision. You do. But let me tell you, it's much easier if you just follow the right path. Your life would be a lot simpler. A lot easier. So I think that's about it. Yes, yes. And we're going to wrap this one up. It's already about 40 minutes long. So, guys, I look forward to doing some more of these brown chair chats. And I hope this kind of resonates with you. I hope you picked something from it that you could probably, hopefully, use in your own life. And till next time. All right? Ciao.